Welcome to Around the Peninsula. I'm Katusa Sergeant Che Minyong. Camp Humphreys enjoys a visit from a unique soldier with uncanny insight into the Army of today. Army Sergeant Jaron Don heads to Humphreys for more.
You know, and I do PT.
Sergeant Major Chandler had the opportunity to speak with soldiers and get their perspectives of what is going on at the lowest levels. He was given a first-class tour of the helicopters at the super hangar and afterwards headed to the theater and hosted a town hall.
You, who came in after 9/11, volunteered to come in the Army at a time of war and accept the fact that you were probably going to go in harm's way. You were going to defend your country. I think that makes you very special.
I would like to know if the Army has any intentions.
Sergeant Major Chandler answered questions from the soldiers in attendance to address their concerns with current policies. The town hall was concluded with the coin presentation for soldiers that excel at what they do.
Awesome. Congratulations. Thank you for all that you do. Cool.
Army Sergeant Jaron Don, Camp Humphreys, Korea.
Sergeant Major of the Army Raymond F. Chandler III was sworn in as the 14th Sergeant Major of the Army on March 1, 2011. Members of the U.S. Army achieved more than one goal during a friendly competitive tradition. Senior Airman Emma Duff reports.
Competition's always good, and good competition is better.
The annual Turkey Bowl teaches U.S. Army units from Camp Carroll, Suwon Air Base, and Osan Air Base how to come together and build unity within their ranks. The 35th ADA Junior Enlisted Coach, Linwood Oliver, teaches his team how to do more than just score points.
All on the same team.
My main focus was just to show the guys, how to, work as a team, because they work in many different shops, and then we just came together and made sure that we did practice, and then our goal, we won a Turkey Bowl, so it was a success.
One player in particular stands out to Coach Oliver. 35th ADA quarterback Israel Washington has his own idea of what the Turkey Bowl is all about.
It's just to bring together all the units together on Thanksgiving, to be thankful for what we have and be thankful for each other, bring us all together for team unity and all that.
And teaching wasn't the only thing happening for Washington's coach.
Well, something I've learned as a coach is how to deal with different people's personality, to bring them together as a team.
Coming together as a team and giving thanks was the overall win at the Turkey Bowl this year. Senior Airman Emma Duff, Osan Air Base, Korea.
The Turkey Bowl brings 3 Army units stationed throughout Korea to Osan Air Base each year. Imagine what it would be like to travel from Mexico to China or Japan in 2 hours. Specialist Pedro Amador shows us how it's possible.
When her parents had gone to the market, how they walked.
The lights in the classroom are dimmed as more than 200 Casey Elementary and Middle School students listen to various stories as part of the school's annual Read Around the World event. With 12 years of teaching experience, one teacher comes to the school prepared to read about Mexican culture, having lived in Mexico a few years himself.
Today we are using literature to learn about cultures and people around the world, and we find that using literature is a very effective means to do so. Corn, beans, and squash.
In his story, The First Tortilla, students learn about a traditional Mexican flatbread made out of corn. One student with Korean heritage quickly finds the similarity with her own culture.
There's putsinge. It's not really bread, but it's a powdered substance, and you can put a variety of different vegetables inside.
You would be scared to go near them. Well, I think that she's learning that using literature connects people, because a lot of it is a lot of similarities and universalities in literatures, which allow children to see that we're much more alike than we are different. Read the other village girls.
With his story, Mr. Perkins passes on the message of unity through literature. Specialist Pedro Amador, Camp Casey, Korea.
Each student was given a fake passport to get a stamp of the countries. Fight or flight isn't an option. We have to know what to do in order to save lives. Staff Sergeant J.L. LeBourne takes us to Kunsan Airport.
Time is life. Being able to quickly observe, orient, decide, and act saves lives.
This was a biannual exercise for Kunsan Police Department. They were doing an anti-terrorist exercise over in the Kunsan Airport. This airport which is right next to our Kunsan Air Base,
We support it all the time for the aircraft, and also we're the closest response force for the facility as well.
Good relationships don't just happen. Hours of training and collaboration ensure future mission success.
This was the first time that we actually got involved. We were collaborating with the ROCAF and also with the Kunsan Police Department. Basically started off with the bomb threat to the airport, but at the same time, they planted a bomb in the aircraft.
Response tactics must evolve to face future threats.
This was one of our second exercises that we did from last week to this week. I'm hoping that we continue to do more exercise with the outside agency and also involve more of our base agency so we could work together in the future.
Coordinators tested the force's limits by having multiple attacks occur simultaneously.
I'm really proud of my guys. They did really well. It was a very small role, but it was an important role they played.
Staff Sergeant Jael Laborn, Kunsan Air Base, Korea.
Almost 100 participants and role players took part in this training event. In an effort to see the real-world operations of airmen in Korea firsthand, someone made a stop on the Korean Peninsula. Senior Airman Adam Harder reports.
The Secretary of the Air Force, Secretary Deborah Lee James, recently took her first steps onto the Korean Peninsula since she assumed her role 11 months ago, and those steps were on Kunsan Air Base. Following a stop at Andersen Air Force Base in Guam, Secretary James experienced her first unaccompanied base in the Pacific and the uniquely urgent mission that comes with it.
Korea, the Korean Peninsula, is a dangerous, volatile place, and the Republic of Korea is a key ally for the United States. And it is vitally important that we continue to work very closely with the Republic of Korea forces, just as I have seen here today, for the defense of the Korean Peninsula.
Yet amidst all of the meeting and greeting, the airmen of Kunsan provided Secretary James with experiences exclusive to Kunsan.
I love Kunsan.
Such as letting her help defend the base, putting on a performance by the Kunsan Sexual Assault Prevention Theater Group, and guiding her through the Kunsan Fighter Wing mission, all of which helped her develop an understanding of how these unaccompanied airmen succeed on a daily basis.
Kunsan, I think, is a terrific base, but it is an austere base. It's an unaccompanied base. They're far from home, and so that puts special burdens on our airmen who are based here. But they're doing a great job. They're ready to fight tonight. They are the highest level of readiness that we have within the United States Air Force, and I am very, very proud of them.
After an all-call with the Wolfpack, the Secretary departed to continue her Pacific journey to Osan Air Base, but she left with a positive note for Kunsan airmen who are away from their families this holiday season.
I'd like to wish all of our airmen a very happy Thanksgiving, and I hope that they'll get a little bit of rest. Although with the mission of being ready to fight tonight, I'm not so sure that they will, but I wish them the best Thanksgiving possible.
Senior Airman Adam Harder, AFN Kunsan, Korea.
Deborah James is the 23rd Secretary for the United States Air Force. The tables are set and you grab your tray slowly moving down the line, watching your plate grow bigger and bigger. Army Sergeant Matt Cromer shows us who wanted a little turkey and some good conversation.
Happy Thanksgiving to you there, tough guy.
Sergeant Major of the Army Raymond Chandler took time out of his busy schedule to make a surprise visit to soldiers in Korea on Thanksgiving Day. The Sergeant Major visited both Camp Hovey's Iron Cafe and Camp Casey's Thunder Inn to eat, speak, and serve his fellow soldiers. He started off by shaking hands with soldiers as he entered the defects, talking to them about the holiday and how they enjoy serving here in Korea. Sergeant Major then took time to sit, chat, and have a bite with soldiers as they reminisced about where they grew up and how their favorite football team is doing this year. After walking around and talking to everyone, he decided to roll up his sleeves and give the kitchen staff, who has been working so hard to prepare this meal, a deserved break. He and his fellow Sergeants Major stepped behind the line to serve Thanksgiving dinner and get some closer one-on-one time with the soldiers. As Sergeant Major Chandler got ready to leave, people lined up all over the defects to say bye and maybe take a photograph they can send back home. Army Sergeant Matt Cromer, Korea.
Korea was Sergeant Major Chandler's final stop in the Pacific. That was Around the Peninsula for Thursday, December 4th. From all of us at AFN, enjoy your evening.